Hello, good day everyone. Gab here, market analyst from SmarTrade. So let's start our daily briefing by taking a recap on yesterday's data. So yesterday, we have the claimant count change and of course the unemployment rate for UK. So the actual data for claimant count change was 6.3K versus the market forecast at negative 4K. And of course, the unemployment rate, the actual data was 3.6 versus the market forecast at 3.8%. And of course, we have the inflation rate for US year-on-year basis for the month of August. So the actual data was 8.3% versus the market forecast at 8.1%. So if you follow the market trends last night, especially right after the release of inflation rate, this data created huge volatility in the market. Some currencies benefited, some currencies are not. So I hope you guys took your positions before the release or you break even it. It's because this data is, as I've said, created a lot of volatility in the market, and I hope you guys are not affected with this release. So overall, what are the economic data for the day? So at 2 p.m. we have the inflation rate data for UK year on year for the month of August. So as you can see here, the actual data was 9.9% versus the market forecast at 10.6%. And for the US session, we also have to pay attention on the PPI data. So forecasted at 0.1% versus the previous data of negative 0.5%. And also we have to pay attention on the EIA crude oil stock exchange for this week. So let's focus on some of the financial products. So both gold and silver respected our levels that we've analyzed yesterday. So let's take a look. So right here, as you can see, right after the inflation rate data for US, as I've said, it created huge volatility in the market. So this is how the market trends of gold looks yesterday. So let's have a quick recap first. So the levels that I gave you last night, we have 1725 and of course 1715. So obviously it respected all these levels. So during the early sessions, the price of gold was actually traded beyond 1725, and after that the price hits the 1730 level. And if you can still remember, I told you that you need to pay attention with 1730 since it's a good resistance around here. And right after that, the price of gold retraced on the downside and respected the levels of 715. So it's traded obviously below 715, and the price of gold went to 1710, and the price was actually lower, or the price of gold was traded lower 1710 and it goes lower to 1696. So if you managed to took the positions for long and short, I hope you guys profited with this one. So as of the moment, the price of gold is currently around 1701.18. So what are the levels for gold for the day that we need to pay attention? So the levels that we need to pay attention first is 1705 on the upside, and of course on the downside we need to focus on the 1695 levels. So for the day, if you can see that gold is traded above 1705, then we might target 1710 in picture. And on the downside, if you can see that it's being traded below 1695, then it will pave the way towards the 1690. So for 1710 area, you need to pay attention with this one as well, since just in case the price of gold was traded beyond 1705 and it reached 1710, then you might see a retracement on the downside. But same thing with the 1690 territory, since this one is a good support level for gold. So once the price of gold goes down to 1690, then we might see a retracement. But on the alternative scenario, if the price of gold can sustain below 1690, then we might see another drop for gold for the day. So overall, if the price of gold is traded at 1710, then we might see a slight move on the upside. So for silver, same thing with gold. The price levels was respected once again. So the levels that I gave you yesterday, we have 19.80 and of course 19.50. So during the early sessions, the price of silver was traded beyond 19.80 and the price goes up to 19.90, which is our initial target on the upside. But however, the price of silver retraced on the downside after the release of inflation. So the price of silver was traded below 19.50. But first, right after the huge drop for silver, you can see here a big bullish candle. So that is why I always tell you guys to trail your positions if you manage to catch half of our targeted pips so that you can protect your profits. So if you manage to enter around this area, or let's say your sell stop was activated, then obviously you will get the half of our targeted pips here. So I would suggest you trail it. So the price of silver goes up. So if you have your trailing stops right here, then definitely you will still get profits after the huge after a huge retrace on this bullish candle. And right after that, after this candles for silver close, then it goes back again to the area of 19.50 and it's traded below that, and then it goes lower around 19.40. So if you manage to took the long positions, if you trail your positions on the short short side or short area, then definitely you guys profited with this one. So for the day, what are the levels for silver? So currently it's around 19.33. So if you can see that it's being traded beyond 19.45, then 19.55 will be in picture for the day. And if it's being traded below 19.20, then it will pave the way towards to 19.10. But if it can sustain lower than 19.10, next primary target will be around 18.5 and of course 18 range. And lastly, we have US oil. So US oil also respected the levels that we've analyzed. So during the early sessions, the price of US oil was actually traded beyond 88, and right here, as you can see, the price goes up all the way to 88.50. And right after that, the price retraces since we have a good resistance around this area. So especially after a huge drop, it goes below 86 and it took our area of interest right here at 85.50. So if you manage to enter the long or short positions, I hope you guys profited with this one as well. But for the day, what are the levels for US oil? So currently it's around 87. So if you can see that it's being traded beyond 87.50, then we might target 88 for this one. But you need to pay attention with 88 since this one is a resistance as well, or key levels for RD chart. So for the downside, if you can see that it's being traded below 86.5 or 86.50, then you might target 86. Then if it can sustain below 86, then you might see another drop for US oil for the day. So next possible targets, if it's lower than 86, possible targets will be around 85.50 and of course 85 levels. So overall, you guys know the drill. If you manage to enter your positions for the day for silver, gold, and US oil, if you manage to get the half of our targeted pips, I would suggest you trail your positions so that it can protect your profits, and same goes with your capital. All right, thank you everyone. Please like and subscribe sa YouTube channel ni SmarTrade and see you on the next video.